Let's go straight to our first topic of discourse. Nigeria's agricultural sector contributes to a significant part of the country's GDP. Between October and December 2020, the agricultural sector contributed 26.95% in total GDP, an increase by almost 1 percentage point compared to the same period of 2019. The sector also employs more than 36% of the country's labor force, a feat which ranks the sector as the largest employer of labor in the country. Now, despite various interventions from the government, agricultural trade remains constrained by poor infrastructure, and as the Nigerian value chain, agricultural value chain, is somewhat affected with the systemic and services gaps which underpin the market failures. Although the agricultural value chain has the potential of triggering economic growth and development in the higher scale, with a trickle-down effect to other sectors of the Nigerian economy. But as food inflation reached more than 20% in February 2021, making it the highest since at least in 2005, experts say Nigeria's agricultural sector requires massive investments to increase production and to create value addition across the most profitable segment of the value chain. Well, to discuss this, of course, and stay on this and see how it concerns Nigeria's agricultural value chain, I have the national president of the All Farmers Progressive Association, Mr. Ogbo Joseph Doughlas. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate this.
Thank you very much.
Yes, let me quickly start with this big one in the news, talking about how much we are spending on imports of foods. You know, when I saw this figure today, it was really alarming. We're talking about 1.89 trillion here to import food. Why are we still going through this before we go into some other basic discussions that has to do with the agricultural sector in the country?
Yes, if I will make my own assumption into this, actually, federal government has spent a lot of money in contributing to make sure agriculture becomes one or the other level of income generation in the country. But it's quite unfortunate that as I'm talking to you now, the much the government has spent so far has nothing to commensurate with what we're seeing today. And that is why there is too much inflation in the society. And that's why this has led to so many reasons why we cannot come out of the present predicament we're facing in the country. And I know, and like I actually said, the only way out is nothing but agriculture. Nigeria is one of the beautiful countries that was already built on a beautiful foundations. But the worst thing that happened is that we neglect that foundation because we have seen the advent of oil, and we begin to pursue the issue of oil and abandon the real source of where the project to make Nigeria one of the giants of Africa. Nigeria was known to be the giant of Africa through agriculture. And because the advent of oil had made us to, lose our attention, the only way out is to reverse back to agriculture. Upon the monies that the federal government is spending through CBN by giving to farmers, as I'm talking to you, the CBN governor said he has actually spent up to 1.487 trillion on farmers from the half quarter of last year till now. And I want to say, where are those farmers? Today, we are seeing that the inflation rate is almost 21.79% in food alone. By this time, which is not yet up to May, June, July, when we are expecting new produce to come out, the price of good, especially of the food commodity in the country, rise to this level, which has never happened in the history of this country. It's the first in the history of Nigeria to have the price of food rise to this level. I would like to say that if we don't do anything, by the time it triggers further, what we experienced in the last episode of End SARS, this was going to be worst, because they say a hungry man is an angry man. So if we don't do something now, what is going to come after this is going to be a dangerous source for the country. But we don't pray for that.
Yes, we really
We
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Really, in our organization, which is All Farmers Progressive Association, we look at the effort of what government is doing. And the only way we can come out of this issue is not by giving out money, 20,000 per month to youth, 30,000 per month to youth. You are only servicing their habit. You are only funding their habit. They will come out tomorrow and begin to do more than what they have done before. The only way out is to engage them in agriculture. And let me tell you, our forefathers, up till this moment, are still using manual labor in agricultural produce. And you know, the youth of today, nobody is ready to go back to that level. They are thinking of how do we do to come out of this mess. And the only way out is that this youth, we can encourage them by coming into agriculture, by introducing what we call full mechanized system of agriculture. It's only then we can curtail the excess and the exodus of the youth in the street. They are not ready to carry hoe. They are not ready to carry cutlass. They are not ready to do anything of manual. But I assure you, if this youth can be regrouped in clusters, as we are deliberating and dialoguing with NALDA to give us some land in some of the federal government land, by the time we group this youth into clusters of about 100 hectares and merge them together, I assure you, all this exodus of youth social vices will no longer be there. Then we can actually come down to the level of maintaining what we're having today in the country. Now, the federal government is spending a lot of money. This money can be channeled into agriculture. The attention that is paid to oil, if that attention is paid to agriculture, I think we are going to be better than what we are now. A country is not rich until the citizens are rich. A country is not to be rich, like we're talking about USA today. They are rich, not only the government, but the individuals. Today, in Nigeria, I can tell you, only 10% or 15% of them are rich individually. The remaining 85% are poor. And why? Because we pay attention to oil alone. Oil can only give us money only through government projects that when they will do. But when you want to talk about individual wealth, it is only in agriculture we can achieve that.
Now, allow me to interject allow me to interject you and follow up this question. Yes, you've talked about what the CBN has done, which I also wanted to mention, about 1.4 trillion naira already injected into all of the schemes instituted by the Apex Bank. Now, why don't we have, or why don't we see the impact of all of this funding? Some people talk about briefcase farmers that come collect the funds and don't do what should be done with it. What really are the issues? So that even the Apex Bank, if they listen to us, they will know how to go about all of this disbursement of funds. Because it's important that when you're funding a sector, there should be results.
That is good of it. The reason they are not getting the result is because the money is going to the wrong hands. The people they are calling farmers, where are they? These are political farmers. They collect this money, they go out and build houses, they go out and buy cars, they go out and do other things. Another problem the federal government is having is feedback mechanism. They are sending out the message, but the message is not coming back to them. We can ration this to people where we said a man who is cleaning a roasted yam for a blind man ought to be whistling. If you don't whistle, the blind man will say you have eaten his food, his yam finished. So by the time you finish doing it, he will begin to touch it and feel whether the yam is as what he's given to you before. But what I'm saying in essence, if actually government want to achieve result in agricultural sector, they have to involve core farmers, those who are there in the field. Look at the people that are even trying today, like the rice farmers. If you go to look detail and investigate them properly, only 30% of them are actually doing the job. The remaining 70% are just flowing. They are just floating. They are just on papers. So if we really want this country to survive, especially in the agricultural sector, one, we need to involve the farmers. Two, we need to involve them even in the policy formulation and implementation so that we can do the right thing at the right time. Agriculture can make Nigeria bastardly rich. God has endorsed us. We have enormous land, we have money, we have human resources. If we can marry them together with this modern technology in agriculture, we're going to get a result. All I want to advise the federal government is to come closer like we have programmed on how to do full mechanized system. That is the only thing that will lead us out of this mess.
Now,
we are in collaboration.
Yes.
With,
go ahead.
We are in collaboration with a Belarus government. Part of their business that they are so-called on agriculture. They have promised to even establish an assembly plant of tractors in this country. And we have already reached an agreement with them, which they have set a quotation on how to get those tractors into the country. Assembly plant will be here. They will teach our people. Technology will be transferred. Fertilizer organic will come. We have a better yield. By the time we put all these things in place, I assure you, Nigeria will come out of this mess we find ourselves today. The reason for all this banditry and social vices that is parading the day will no longer be there because people will be self-sufficient. When you eat belly full, you will not have problem to look for trouble of anybody. So for us to be safe and for us to get this well, let us reverse back to agriculture. And the only way we can get it and achieve it in agriculture is through mechanization.
Mechanization.
Set the machine unrolling.
Now, mechanization, yes, sounds very good. Yeah. You know, we were talking to you, National President of All Farmers Progressive Association. It's a privilege, and we really need to take advantage of this and ask you this question. That aside all that we've contended with in the agricultural sector, the new one is now insecurity, which is affecting farmers and all of that. We must talk about this. Now, tell us how this has impacted yields and what more can be done so that we at least move on and get out of all of this issues pulling us back and letting us actualize the full potential of Nigeria's agricultural sector.
It's okay. Like you rightly said, honestly speaking, the banditry insecurity in the country is one of major reasons why we are even having inflation in this food produce in the country now. I think our inflation rate now is about 21.78%, which has never happened in the history of Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, issue of insecurity played a major role in Nigeria agricultural sector today. Now, the farmers we have, especially in those northeast and northwest, that produce a lot of beans and several other agricultural crop produce, majority of them today are in IDP camps. They are not there to do the farm work because of what? Because of insecurity. And we have a least relief. Last time when the president made an announcement that they should crush down anybody at all they see, we take care for 7. Those who are parading themselves, causing problems between farmers, and will not allow farmers to go back to their field. I think if that matter can be addressed properly, believe I assure you, Nigeria will come out of this problem. Now you are buying food, especially the mood of Gari, which is one of the staple food in every family in Nigeria. We bought them 150 naira before, 100 naira before. Now Gari Mudu is 500, 700, 800, as the case may be, depends on where you find yourself. What about rice? This rice that we normally enjoy on our own, 100 naira, 50 naira per mudu. As at how many years? Today, we can no longer afford that. All borders have been closed. We agree to that. That is to boot agricultural produce in the country. And if these policies are properly channeled towards the real agriculturists, who are the real farmers, believe me, what we are crying today of inflation will not be there. So we are begging government to do everything humanly possible to prevent this banditry, Boko Haram, or all forms of insecurity that are coming to the country. More so now, you can imagine, Nigeria is being flogged with overpopulation. Influx of foreigners are here. They are here, they are not producing, rather they are consuming. And we locally, the border has been closed. Food is not coming from outside. So the one we are producing in the country cannot be enough for us. And this insecurity again is there. So no farmers is allowed to go to farm. Most who we have the urge to go, they are being killed, they are being maimed, they are being raped. We are begging the federal government to put more effort. They have tried enough, but they have to put more extra effort to see that these things are curtailed. And by doing that, I assure Nigerians in the next 2 years, in the next 1 year, in the next season, believe me, we are going to come out of this thing. We are dividing the country into sections. Like in Benue, we engage them on production of yams. Like in Medugri, beans, Sokoto, maize, and other places like that. In this mechanization, we are making sure that a farmer who is farming for sustenance will no longer be there. It's not going to be in a commercial volume. Nigeria, I believe, I bet you, if we can put our trust majorly on agriculture, we are going to feed the whole world. And Nigeria is going to get money. The institutions are going to be rich. Many people will resign from whatever they are doing today to go into agriculture because I assure you there is too much money in it. Nigeria is a country that is blessed with all the enormous resources that God has for us. But if we can properly harness and diversify our economy properly, as we say, into agriculture, I bet you we will do better than what we are now.
Okay, let's almost wrap up now on this note. When the Director General of the World Trade Organization visited Nigeria, she talked about Nigeria's share in world trade, 0.33%, not impressive at all. Then in Africa, about 19%, which is below what is expected. Now, she talked about us focusing, that's Nigeria as a whole, focusing on value addition. What do you make of how well we add value to what we produce? Or we've not gotten to that point yet where we talk about value addition. And also, let's talk about storage. Let's do those 2 points and wrap up this section of the discussion.
Thank you very much. Like I rightly said, you see, the quote they are saying, in the value chain of agriculture, let's first do with the first thing first. When there is security, when there is mechanization, when there is enough produce, we cannot allow them to be wasting away. We have understanding with foreign investors who are coming to do in the area of processing. The area of processing that give more money than even producing when we want to talk about value chain in agriculture. So if we are going to get a helping hand from them, like all Farmers Progressive Association, like I've told you, is structured to liberate farmers in all forms. So we are coming to tell you that whatever it is, if government can give us a greater support, I'm assuring you we have an understanding with even advanced country, with even local people in Nigeria who are going to go into food processing, storage facilities as well. We are planning, as time goes on, in every locality, we are going to build a storage. We will not harvest our goods and take them straight to the market. We're also thinking about creating what we call farmers market, so that people can have access to food. Because sometimes these food inflations can be traced down to middle people, the third party, the traders who buy from somewhere and come and sell. But this time around, if we are going to introduce what we call processing in the agricultural value chain, we are going to save a lot. Instead of taking them rawly to the market, they are going to be there for us, and then we'll save them against tomorrow, so that we will no longer lack. And I assure the people in this country that if farmers can be given attention, we have all this program on ground to make sure that Nigeria come out of the mess in what we are seeing ourselves now.
All right, it's a good way to leave it there. National President of Farmers Progressive Association, Mr. Ogbo Joseph Doughlas. Thank you very much for shedding light on all of this and, of course, advising the government on what needs to be done for us to get this sector right. We appreciate your time. We'll call on you again to follow up on all of this as development unfolds.
Thank you very much.